Thank you, Stan. Thank you for the generous introduction. Thank you for being here in Saturday. It's my pleasure to speak to you on the food issue. I like food. I love food, actually. We all love food, but the thing is, the problem is I'm not going to say a good thing about the food here. So please bear with me. I'll still probably have indicated in that direction. I'm not going to speak about mostly hunger crisis, but the type of politics which goes on in India about the food. 199 million people in India, almost 15% of the population of the country, are malnourished or undernourished. 60% of that 199 million, you can make it 200 million because the number, in Indian number grows up so fast that the number when I got it 199 million, I don't know, it might be 200 million. So 3,000 children die every day from hunger. And what happening that India, this is something which is interesting because we all think that if the economic growth takes place, then the hunger crisis will be addressed, which China has done it quite well in the last 3 decades, whereas India, in spite of its impressive economic growth, has not been able to address the hunger issue or the income inequality issue that much as good as China. So I think we need to think about when we have always a good thing about when a democracy also sometimes fails to match the non-democracy in this context. India stands 97th in Oxfam Food Availability Index, 103rd in the Global Hunger Index. It's quite grim picture, particularly when we are talking about India being one of the big powers or upcoming big powers. India is a big economy. So if you look at the hunger index, it is absolutely simple. But India exports food. If you look at it, it's 23.3 million tons of agricultural produce. It has exported last year, economic year, whereas it has only imported 9.454 million tons. So it really exporting more food to other countries, whereas the people are suffering from the malnourishment or undernourishment. Look, I mean, the way food availability, net availability of food grains per person in the kilograms, that's almost same, whereas the country's food productions in million tons, that has increased quite well. I mean, because of agriculture, the Green Revolution, lots of building dams. India used to build the largest number of dams. Now China is building almost all the dams, but before India was building quite a lot of dams. But at the same time, India is a society, is very segmented society. 80%, almost 80% of population are Hindus, Muslim around 15%, Christians 2.3, Sikhs, and other smaller ones, which comes up to almost 1.3 billion, 1.35 billion population. The Hindu, of course, 80% almost, but that is also Hindu society is very divided in the different caste system. I'm not going to give you now a definition of how the Hindu caste system works, because that will take all my time, but at least you see that there is the Dalit system, which are supposed to be untouchables. The lowest strata, that's 16.2%. Indigenous people, 8.2%. Other backward class, 32%. Upper caste, which goes, upper caste also there is a big division within the upper caste, but that's 23.4%. So there is a huge caste division. The country is, in spite of 80% majority Hindu population, that's also subdivided into different caste systems. I will come back to why I'm telling all this. India, food and food politics in India is nothing new. It's nowhere. Food has been always a part of politics. It's at present everywhere in different parts of the world. It's politics. But if you go back to the history, India's history is extremely contested nowadays. India is going through a right-wing phase, and when you know that when the country goes through the right-wing government, the history gets through all kinds of new renovation processes. And that's India is going through now. But I will go back to just recent history, when the India's first Independence Day struggle, or the mutiny, which took place in 1857. That's India was under the British rule for 200 years. But 1857, when the sepoys or the Jawans came out or protested against the British colonial regime, the reason was because at that time they were given the guns, which they have to use the cartridges, but they have to take these cartridges or they have to bite the cartridges to put that inside the gun. And those cartridges, or the cover of the cartridges, there was a rumor that the cover of cartridges are made out of the beef fat, or the cow fat or the pig fat. So, means the majority of the soldiers either Hindu or Muslims. So if it is the beef fat or cow fat or the pig fat, then of course it becomes a problem. So the soldiers or the Jawans didn't really sepoys, they call it, they didn't really take up they didn't want to fight. So then there is a mutiny took place because over that cartridge issue. You know a guy called Gandhi, who now in India we have started forgetting him, or we have almost forgotten him. But this guy, when he started this movement against the British colonial rule, he used the fasting as the major weapon against the British rule. He was not going around with the few guns or trying to muscle through the Britishers and throw them out with the force. He was trying to, with the moral force, he was trying to throw them out. And the fasting was a major weapon in the hand of Gandhi to use it to pressurize British. When he used to, fasting is of course another using food as a politics, but also when he was breaking the fast after the Britishers or the colonial rulers accepting his demand, he used to break with the curd and eggs. That's a symbolic value because it's supposed to be the prophet's food. So he was trying to show that look, it has our own cultural value that I will break the fast of kind of food which we eat here, but we have some symbolic value here. Then another one, Gandhi also did the salt march. It was like the Britishers used to say that Indians cannot produce salt. The salt has to come from the UK or the Britain, because then they can sell it and get the money. So he said that, Gandhi said that I will go and do the salt. We Indians will produce the salt because we have such a huge sea line. Why can't we do that? So in 1930, that's also salt is a part of food. So there are different ways this food has been in the politics, has come to the politics. We all talk about Indian vegetarianism. You know, but Indian vegetarianism is a myth. I'm sorry to say that because I think you have been under the illusion that Indians were vegetarians. Many people, those who know about India, also they come under that impression that the Indians are vegetarian. That's a totally an upper caste mindset which you have been fed into. Only 30% of women and 20% men describe themselves as vegetarians. 71% of Indians over the age of 15 are non-vegetarian. But the most important thing, when different statistics are coming up now, due to cultural pressure, many people eat non-veg food outside, but they will claim themselves as still vegetarian. So it's a lot of cultural pressure which pushes them to tell that they are vegetarians. The largest growth market of poultry consumption, the chicken consumption, is going on in India because it's religiously neutral. It's not beef or it's not food, so we can go on. Vegetarian, as I said, vegetarian households are mostly upper caste Hindus, and they have a higher. How many minutes? Okay, thanks. Mostly upper caste Hindus and higher income and consumption, so more affluent eating households. So So they are much richer, those who are vegetarian, than the meat eaters. But also the lower caste, Dalits, and tribal people, or the indigenous people, they mainly eat meat eaters. So there is a class division, there is a caste division, there is a religious division in eating meat or not eating meat in India. And that's where the problem comes in. The problem, what is going on now, is over the beef, the cow meat. Because cow is supposed to be considered by Hindus in India, or the majority of the Hindus in India, as the mother, or the clinics of the mother. That's a holy cow, you have had it. And wherever you go in India, you find cows. But if you go back to the history, historians have said that the Hindus are not supposed to eat beef, or majority of Hindus are not supposed to eat beef. I don't have time to get into the details of it, but if you go back to the history, historically Hindus were eating beef. So it's just a change in the midway where they went into having certain kind of policy that they are not going to eat beef. So, but what is happening now? It's happening that the Hindu ultra-nationalists, those who are in power, they do want to impose the other people, those who are meat eaters in general, and the beef eaters in particular, not to let them eat that meat. And that's where the problem comes coming up. Beef is also significantly cheaper than the chicken and fish, and it's a staple diet for Muslims, tribal people, and Dalits. And that's where it's being taken out of in the market, or the people are forced to not to to produce beef or to sell the meat in the market. And beef also is a preferred meat in the northeastern part of India, which you look at the Burma, Myanmar side. That's mostly Christian-dominated tribal indigenous populations which eat beef. That's also being, so beef has also regional issues as well. After Brazil, India is the largest beef exporter in the world. That's also another, a country which is supposed to know it's a vegetarian country, it doesn't supposed to eat meat or beef, but it used to be, 2 years back, was the largest exporter of beef to the world. Now it has come down to the second largest exporter of beef after Brazil. Beef and leather industries is extremely important, particularly employ a large number of Muslims and Dalits. Dalits means I'm not the lower caste. What has happened, because the present government and the present political dispensation, which directly, with the help of the state, directly, or with the help of its cadre, the fascist cadres, they are trying to impose or trying to force the people not to kill the cows, get the beef, and that's what is happening. That the farmers that we used to have the cows or the cattle for for the agricultural purposes, they can't use them. When they become old, they're not can even sell them. So you will find even the many school buildings are, the people are being forced to keep these cows into the school building because they are otherwise going to the agricultural places. So the school buildings are taken over in some places by the cows now. So if India just want to keep these unproductive cattle in a proper way, it will be probably 1.5% of the defense budget of the country. And India's defense budget is not that small. India is the largest importer of arms in the world. Minority says beef ban is an assault on country's secularism. Beef is also part of an identity. For Muslims, it's a part of identity to separate them from the Hindus. So if you take away the beef, it's a majoritarian chauvinism or majoritarian forcibly asking them not to have their own choices of the minority. So it's getting much more economically complex, it's getting much more religiously complex, it's also creating the real stuff. It's striking at the very foundation of India as a country, which on the basis of secularism. This is some things which came in the Svenska Dagbladet, one of the piece on the 28th December. It's easier to kill a Muslim than killing a cow in India. And I'm not joking. Actually, this is the statement, this is my statement. And this statement, when I told the newspaper, actually I was a bit more careful. Actually, if you kill a Muslim, you can do politically more well, and if you kill a cow, you are bound to be killed. So it's much worse than that. Lynching of Muslims, Dalits under the pretext of cow protection is over a century old. It's nothing new. It's of course there has been lynching has been a part of this process, but it is becoming extremely vicious in the last 5 years, particularly with this far-right government, Hindu right-wing government under Narendra Modi. Ruling party ministers are encouraging lynching. Even the father of the Indian military official, which was killed because of in the suspicion of that he had a beef in his house. So this is happening all the time. Police, due to political pressure, reluctant to enforce law and order. Recently, some of these beef guys or anti-beef guys killed even a police official. But the state didn't take action. It's just very important, particularly for in the post-colonial state. If you are targeting or attacking a police officer, the state comes after you with full force. But not in this case. State went after even police, but not with the people, those who are killing those who are protesting against this cow or the beef. So it is not the beef, as I see it, the present politics. It's not the cow. It's so the upper caste Hindu is the one who sets the agenda. It wants to keep the agenda, it wants to keep the power, political power in its hand, when gradually it is being challenged by the lower caste, gradually challenged by the minorities. They don't want to accept that kind of traditional imposition of this upper caste domination. So this is where it is being shown, using as beef as the weapon to subjugate a larger majority of the population. This is what is happening there. This is the new face of New India. This is my last one. This is the guy who has been lynched, a Muslim guy has been lynched by the upper caste mob because of suspicion of having beef. The way he's being taken, and look at the way the police officers are letting these lynchers to misbehaving with the dead man, and they are walking smoothly. Thank you very much.